Alrighty, good morning, gamer. Good morning. Welcome into No Such Time Domain. I said welcome in gamers. I haven't done that in a while, actually. I haven't done a gaming video in a while. Um, so, yeah, I think I'm gonna lay it back on trying to explain that the Rapture's, a possibility of a Rapture bane becoming, because you get, like, people literally insult you over, like, saying the possibility of the Rapture may be coming because, they believe in aliens, they praise leaders of the United States, but they don't believe in picking up the Bible and reading the Bible that predicted things for thousands and thousands of years. That's what I don't understand. We're in a country that started off, because of this. Well, not because of this, but this was one of the things that when we start this country, this was important to us. And now we're at a state where you explain it to people that are like, well, are people online really this stupid? I'm like, you guys don't have a belief structure and you haven't been reading it. You know, you're so busy thinking that everything else is existing. But when it says the rapture's coming, oh boy. And the thing that really gets me about it is that they'll believe aliens exist. They'll believe aliens exist. Yeah, but yet Elon Musk has yet to get us off the face of the planet or anything like that. I don't get why anybody wants to actually believe that aliens exist, considering the fact that we're not meant to leave the planet. When you leave the planet, you die. You die. That's it. You're no longer alive. So, the thing I don't get is everybody wants to poke fun at me, make fun of me and stuff like that. But the reality of the truth is this kind of stuff was predicted in our Bible. So why would you be giving somebody a hard time for that? Pick up a book, is all I'm saying. Pick up your Bible, things like that, instead of sitting there berating somebody on something, speculation of something that may be coming. To sit there and literally give somebody a hard time or make them feel a certain way about something because of their belief structure. Well, that's absurd. But anyway, that's all people do anyway. These days anyway, they don't really actually know how things work. So put somebody under the bus for it. Put somebody under the bus for a belief that they have that has been proven time and time again that it's real. But anyway, let me get started here. All right. So chapter 10. Saul takes his life. Now the Philistines fought against Israel. The Israelites fled before them and fell dead on Mount Gilboa. The Philistines were in hot pursuit of Saul and his sons, and they killed his sons Jonathan, Abinadab. About chapter 10 short. And Malachi Shaw. The fighting grew fierce around Saul. When the archer overtook him, they wounded him. Saul said to the armor-bearer, "Draw your sword and run me through, or these uncircumcised fellows will come and abuse me." But his armor-bearer was terrified and would not do it. So Saul took his own sword and fell on it. When the armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell on his sword too, and died. Saul and his 3 sons died, and his household died together. When all the Israelites in the valley saw that the army had fled, and that Saul and his sons died, they abandoned their towns and fled. And the Philistines came and occupied them. The next day, when the Philistines came to strip the dead, they found Saul and his son fallen on Mount Gibeah, and stripped him, and took his head and his armor, and sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistine to proclaim the news among their idols and their people. They put his armor in the temple of their God, and hung up his head in the temple of Dagon. When all the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard what the Philistines had done, Saul to Saul, all their valiant men went and took bodies of Saul and his sons, and brought them to Jabesh. They buried their bones under the great tree in Jabesh, and they fasted 7 days. Saul did because he was unfaithful to the Lord, and he did not keep the word of the Lord, even consulted medium of God for guidance, and did not inquire the Lord. So the Lord put him to death, and turned the kingdom over to David, son of Jesse. So that's it for chapter 10. We're getting on to chapter 11. David became king over Israel. All Israel together to David at Hebron said, "We are your own flesh and blood. In the past, while Saul was king, you were the one who led Israel on their military campaigns. And the Lord God said to you, you will shepherd my people Israel, and you will become their ruler." When all the elders of Israel had come to David at Hebron, he made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and anointed King David over Israel, as the Lord had promised through Samuel. David conquers Jerusalem. David and all the Israelites marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus. The Jebusites who lived there said to David, "You will not get in there." Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. David said, however, whoever leads the attack on the Jebusites will become commander-in-chief. Joab, son of Zorah, went up first, and so he received the command. Then David took up the residence in the fortress, and so it was called the city of David. He built up the city around it from the terrace to the surrounding wall, while Joab restored the rest of the city. There. And David became more and more powerful because the Almighty Lord was with him. David's mighty warriors. These were the chiefs of David's mighty warriors. They, together with all Israel, gave his kingship strong support to extend it over the whole land. As the land had promised, this is the list of David's mighty warriors. Jeshabim, Hakamonite, a chief of the officers, he raised a spear against 300 men, whom killed in one encounter. Next to him was Eleazar, son of Dodad, and the Ahoahite, one of the 3 mighty warriors. He was with David at Pasdamim when the Philistines gathered there for battle. At a place where there was a field full of barley. The troops fled from the Philistines, but they took their stand in the middle of the field. They defended it and struck the Philistines down, and the Lord brought about a great victory. 3 of the 30 chiefs came down to David to the rock at the cave of Adullam, while the band of Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. At that time, David was in the stronghold of the Philistine, and garrison was at Bethlehem. David longed for water and said, "Oh, that someone would get me a drink of water from the well near the gate of Bethlehem." So 3 broke through the Philistine line, drew water from the well near the gate of Bethlehem, and carried it back to David, but he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out to the Lord. "God forbid I should do this," he said. "Should I drink the blood of these men who went at the risk of their lives? Because they risked their lives to bring back. David would not drink it." Such were the exploits of the 3 mighty warriors. Abishai, the brother of Joah, was the chief of the 3. He raised the spear against the 300 men, whom he killed, so he became as famous as the 3. He was doubly honored above the 3 and became their commander, even though he was not included among them. Abinadi, son of Joadai, a valiant fighter of Kabzel, performed a great exploit. He struck down Moab's two mightiest warriors. He also went down into the pit on a snowy day and killed a lion. And he struck down an Egyptian who was 5 cubits tall. Although the Egyptians had a spear, like a weaver's rod, in his hand, Benani went against him with a club. He snatched the spear from the Egyptian's hands, and killed him with his own spear. Such were exploits of Benjamin, son of Joadai. He too was as famous as the 3 mighty warriors. He was held in greater honor than any of the 30, but he was not included among the 3. And David put him in charge of his bodyguard, the mighty warrior Ashalah, the brother of Joab, Elkanah, son of Dodo, from Bethlehem, Shemoth, Haratite, Pelez, Pelonite, Ira, son of Ekesh, and Tekoa, Abazir, from Ananas, Sibekiah, and the Hashishites, Isla, the Oahites, Mariah, the Nephatite, Heled, son of Benah, and the Nephatite, Iatha, son of Riabah, from Gibeah, son in Benjamin, Benani, Benahi, the Pyrohanites. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce some of these names. Hurai, the ravine of Gesh, Abel, the Abarith, Asmaveth, the Barahumites, the Elabai, the Shelabonite, the son of Hashmi, the Gezonite, Jonathan, son of Shagi, the Herorite, Ahem, son of Zakar, the Herite, Elipha, son of Ur, Pepper, the Mercharite, Haggai, the Pelonite, Perez, the Carmelite, Nerai, son of Abizer, Joel, the brother of Nathan, Mibar, son of Hagar, Zekel, the Ammonite, Nerai, the Borith, the armor-bearer of Joab, son of Zariah, Ari, the Edorite, Gareb, the Edorites, Uri, the Hittite, Nadab, son of Heliah, Adana, son of Hezai, the Reubenite, who was chief of the Reubenites, and the 30 with him, Hannah, son of Makkah, Josaphat, son of Medonite, Uzzah, son of Asherith, Shema, Angela, son of Hotham, the Ararite, Jadel, son of Shamir, his brother Joah, Tizai, Eliah, Mahavite, Jerubai, and Hoshavi, son of Elinam, Edomai, the Moabite, Eliah, Obed, Jessel, and the Zemobite. Alright, so we're on to chapter 12. So yeah, I'm glad people are still stopping in to looking at the YouTube channel because I'm highly appreciative of it. But there's people out there that people out there, you know, they give me this like hard time about doing this. I'm like, what are you guys getting on my case for? You guys are the one that don't even bother to pick up the Bible, anything like that. I don't know. People have always like picked on me about this stuff, but the reality, the truth is, if it's predicting stuff that's actually going on in our world, and that people are like, well, the government's distracting us from stuff. Well, yeah, they're distracting us from stuff you don't want to believe. But hey, you know what? That's on you. That's on you. Get on my case about it though. You know, I love how like people are always like the government's hiding stuff, and they'll believe in like aliens, or they'll believe in some government conspiracy going on. They now believe that Biden and all those guys are wearing a mask. But the reality, the truth is, you know, we have a rapture about to come, and you guys want to say it. You guys are still pick on somebody that's a Christian for their belief. I don't really understand that. It's amazing. And the reason it amazes me is because, like, people are just like, people just deny the fact that it's predicted in their Bibles of some of these things that are happening. But hey, you know, warriors joined David, chapter 12. These were the men who came to David in at Ziklag while he was banished from the presence of Saul, son of Kish. They were among the warriors who helped him in battle. They were armed with bows and were able to shoot arrows or to sling stones, right-handed or left-handed. They were relatives of Saul from the tribe of Benjamin. Patel, the son of Azmaveth, Beraka, Joah the Enonath, and Ishmaelah the Gibeonite, a mighty warrior among 30, who was a leader of the 30, Jeremiah, Jehaziel, Joanna, Jozabad, the Gerathite, Eluza, Jeremoth, Biliah, Shemera, the Shephatite, the Haruthite, the Elikon, Aisha, Ezra, Jozer, and Joshabam, the Kurathites, and Jeliah, Zebadi, the son of Jerah, and Gedor. Some Gedites defected to David at this stronghold in the wilderness. They were brave warriors ready for battle and able to handle the shield and spear. Their faces were the faces of lions, and they were as swift as gazelles in the mountain. Azer was the chief of Obadiah, the second in command, Elibai, the third, Meshmena, the fourth, Jeremiah, the fifth, Attiah, the sixth, Elii, the seventh, Joanna, the eighth, Elzabad, the ninth, Jeremiah, the 10th, and Machbanah, the 11th. These Gedites were army commanders. The least were a match for 100, and the greatest of the thousands. It was who crossed the Jordan in the first month when it was overflowing. All its bank, and they put a flight, everyone living in the valleys of the east, to the east and to the west. Other Benjamites and some men from Judah also came to David in a stronghold. David went out to meet them and said to them, "If you have come to me in peace to help me, I am ready for you to join me. But if you have come to betray me to my enemies, when my hands are free from violence, may the God of our ancestors see it and judge you." Then the Spirit came to Amasai, chief of the 30, and he said, "We are yours, David. We are with you, son of Jesse. Success to you, and success to those who help you. For your God will help you." So David received them and made them leaders of his raiding bands. Some of the tribe of Manasseh defected to David when he went with the Philistines to fight against Saul. He and his men did not help the Philistines because after the consultation, their ruler sent him away. They said, "It will cost us our heads." if he deserts the master Saul. When David went to Ziklag, these were the men of Manasseh who defected to him: Adnah, Jozabad, and Jedliah, Michael, Jozabad, Hula, and Zilithai, leaders of the units of the thousands in Manasseh. They helped David against raiding bands for them, and they were brave warriors and were commanders in his army. Day after day, men came to help David until he had a great army, like the army of God. Others joined David at Hebron. These are the numbers of men armed for battle who came to David at Hebron. To turn Saul's kingdom over to him, as the Lord had said. From Judah, carrying shields and spears, 6,800 armed for battle. From Simon, warriors ready for battle, 7,100. From Levi, 4,600, including Joadai, leader of the family of Aaron, with 3,700 men, and Zodok, a brave young warrior with 22 officers from his family. From Benjamin, Saul's tribe, 3,000, most of whom had remained loyal to Saul's house until then. From Ephraim, brave warriors famous in their own clans, 20,800. From the half-tribe of Manasseh, designated by the name to come to make David king, 18,000. From Issachar, men who understood the times and knew what Israel should do, 200 chiefs, with all their relatives under their command. From Zebulun's experienced soldiers, prepared for battle with every type of weapon to help David with undivided loyalty, 50,000. From Naphtali, 1,000 officers together with 37,000 men carrying shields and spears. From Dan, ready for battle, 28,600. From Asher, experienced soldiers prepared for battle, 40,000. From the east of Jordan, from Reuben, Gad, and half tribe of Manasseh, armed with every type of weapon, 120,000. All these were fighting men who volunteered to serve in the rank. They came to Hebron, fully determined to make David king over all Israel. All the rest of the Israelites were made also of one mind to make David king. The men spent 3 days there with David, eating and drinking, for their families had supplied provision for them. Also their neighbors, as far as Issachar, Zebulun, and Naphtali, came bringing food on donkeys and camels and oxen. There were plentiful supplies of flour, fig cakes, resin, wine, olive oil, cattle, and sheep, for there was joy in Israel. So chapter 13. Let me see where we're going to today. So hold on. Alright, so we're doing through 13 yet. What time is it? Yeah, we got a good bit of time yet, so yeah, so I'll read 14 also. 14 is kind of short, and it should push us closer to the end. So let me update this. Bye. All right. Now let's get back to it. All right. So we'll do 14. Um, Actually, we'll do 13 and then 14. That should be 14 should be enough to get us into the time frame I'm looking for right now. So, bringing back the ark. David conferred with each of his officers. Chapter 13. David conferred with each of his officers, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds. He then said to the whole assembly of Israel, "If it seems good to you, and if it is well, if it is the will of the Lord our God, let us send word far and wide to the rest of the people of our people throughout the territories of Israel, and also to the priests of the Levites who are with them in the towns and pasture lands, to come and join us. Let us bring the ark of our God back to us, for we did not inquire of it." During the reign of Saul, the whole assembly agreed to this, because it seemed right to all the people. So David assembled all Israel from the Shishor river in Egypt to Lebo Hamath, to bring the ark of God to the Ketherites, Jearim. David and all Israel went to Bala of Judah, Karath Jearim, to bring up from their ark of God the Lord who was enthroned between the cherubim and the ark that is called by the name. They moved the ark of God from Abinadab's house on a new cart with Uzzah and Oahai guiding it. David and all the Israelites were celebrating with it all their great might before God, with songs and with harpers, lyres, and timbrels, cymbals, and trumpets. When they came to the threshing floor of Kidon, Uzzah reached out his hand to the steady ark, because the oxen stumbled. The Lord's anger burned against Uzzah and struck him down, because he had put his hand on the ark. So he died there before God. That's incredibly crazy. He died because he touched the ark. He died because he touched the ark. That's crazy. Then David was angry because the Lord's wrath had broken out against Uzzah. And to this day, this place is called Perez Uzzah. David was afraid of God that day and asked, "How can I bring the ark of God to me?" He did not take the ark to be with him in the city of David. Instead, he took it to the house of Obed Edom and Gittite. The ark of the God remained with the family of Obed Edom in his house for 3 months, and the Lord blessed his household and everything he had. So we're on to chapter 14. This might or might not push us into the time frame I want, but we're gonna do it anyway. So yeah, as you can see, when you were doing stuff back in this time, and you disagree, you just didn't listen to the Lord killed you, man. The Lord, he like ended your life. We don't have to deal with that today. But think about it this. They're finding ancient artifacts all over the place. They're finding sulfur in Sodom and Gomorrah from when it got destroyed, and some other articles from history that pretty much were hidden away. So I look at it this way: if the Bible, I believe the Bible to be real. I believe it to be real, especially because Like I said, if it's predicting stuff in Revelations, it's real then. It's real. And that's why, like, when people are skeptical about something I try to tell them about the Bible and they laugh at me, I'm like, well, you're the one who's paying all this attention to politics. You're the one paying attention to Biden and how goofy he is. You're the one thinking he has a mask on right now. I'm not the one caring about that. That's the biggest distraction from the Bible, to be honest. And we've been doing it for a while now. Take notice how the Bible is barely even talked about in society today unless people are actually reading it. Take notice to that. There are some cultures where the Bible is restricted, and if you have one, you are arrested from having one. That's how dangerous and realistic the Bible is, because they don't want people to know the truth about what's in Revelations, or anything for that matter. And it has been predicted that in the time frame we're in, because everybody's here listening, the time frame we're in right now, there was supposed to be high sexual immorality, an explosion of technology, which there's already two. I'm trying to think, what were the other ones that were predicted that there was one prediction in here that said people are going to continue to worship the false gods without eyes and ears, which is pretty much, and they're made of wood, gold, and stuff like that. And people wouldn't stop worshiping the devil and falling away from that kind of stuff. So that's why, like, I'm here to say to you that check the Bible out, because it is a real book. It is a real story. Unfortunately, it's just hard for people to believe. We are distracted by our government and the online premises of the government. Take notice how the government's been trying to take over everything, and people are always like, well, the government's hiding stuff from us. They're not hiding stuff from you. They're distracting you from stuff that you need to be picking up and reading. You, as a human being, should be reading that, because, you're not, you're kind of, I bet a lot of us are upsetting God that we don't pick one up and read it, so. In fact, I'm almost certain we're upsetting God. Alright. David's house and family. Chapter 14. Now, Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, along with cedar logs, stone masons, and carpenters, to build a palace for him. And David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel, and that his kingdom had been highly exalted for the sake of his people, Israel. In Jerusalem, David took more wives and became father of more sons and daughters. These are the names of the children born to him there: Shuma, Shobah, Nathan, Solomon, Iabar, Elisha, Elapet, Noga, Nepeg, Jophah, Elishama, Beled, and Eliphite. David defeats these Philistines. When the Philistines heard that David had anointed king over all Israel, they went up in full force to search for him. But David heard about it and went out to them. Now the Philistines had come and raided the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of God, "Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hands?" The Lord answered, "Go, I will deliver them into your hands." So David and his men went up to Baal Peramez, and there he defeated them. He said, as waters break out, God has broken out against my enemies by hand. So that place was called Baal Peramez. The Philistines had abandoned their God, and David gave orders to burn them in the fire. Once more, the Philistines raided the valley. So David inquired of God again, and God answered him, "Do not go directly after them, but circle around them and attack them in front of the poplar tree. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in tops of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistines' army." So David did as God commanded him, and he struck down the Philistine army all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. So David's fame spread throughout every land, and the Lord made all the nations fear him. I wonder if that. All right, so yeah, I can stop and talk for a little bit now. We're on chapter 15, so I think that's where I'm gonna call it. But yes, I've been dealing with people that I've been trying to explain this to, and they don't want to understand it or get it, and that's because I don't necessarily get the chance to explain it to them, and I'm trying to find a way to get people to understand that this is one of the oldest books in the world right now. This is one of the oldest books in the world, and it has shown us, so many predictions and all that like, that the Euphrates River drying up was one of the signs that really, really caught me, because it's been reported all over the internet. If you look it up, that the Euphrates River is dried up. And like this stuff is all reported all over the place, and I don't, the thing that I don't get nor understand is that, like, people are so busy, reading a Harry Potter book or reading manga, which is fine. It's fine to read that kind of stuff. But what it's not fine to do is, sit there and read that and then turn around and poke fun at the people reading the Bible. Or like, I don't get how, like, this literature, reading this, has become so much of people, like, chastising me for believing what this book says. Or like making me feel like an idiot for believing in what the Bible says. Even though Revelations had showed us that the Bible is real. This is what I don't get. But yet some of them out there will go and they'll follow the political movement. The political movement is actually really huge right now. It grew to be huge back in, I want to say, man, when did it start growing huge? Because it really started, like, the political movement really started, like, booming. I want to say, like, man, back around the time Donald Trump first got elected, when he was facing, no, actually, Obama was the stage where more people went and voted, and I saw it. I didn't vote though, but people kept saying there was something off, and people actually blamed Obama being the Antichrist. And the funny part about Obama is the word Obama, the beginning of abomination, is Obama. And so, when nobody's believing me in what I'm saying about the Bible, we're all being distracted from reading it, because we're putting cooler stuff on the internet for us to, like, take notice. Back in the 90s, it wasn't nothing like this. I remember people really didn't even give people a hard time for reading the Bible. I remember all over the place. We saw stuff of Joseph. Like, there was a story of Joseph and, like, some coat he had that I grew up where, like, they made a play out of it. The Prince of Egypt came out, which was a story about Moses, which I looked at it, it was like, this doesn't seem right. It seems altered. But I don't know. I'd have to watch the whole thing to find out. All of that stuff. There's so many stories out there related to this. And back in the 90s and early 2000s, well, back in the 90s, everything was fine. It wasn't until we hit the 2000s where we started, like, we got into this futuristic age and we started like worrying more about what technology we could have or what phone we could have instead of, going to church anymore or picking up the Bible. Now, I'm not a church. And I thought about possibly going to a church one of these weekends and, sitting in during a service, but I don't know what church I want to go to. Cuz there was one I used to go to called Church in the Sun. It was a super church, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I remember, I don't even know if some of those people still go. But that's why I do church from my home, my church from my home. And I had people like be like, "Oh, you're not, what is a church? A church has a bunch of people praying in it, yes. But a church also is where you read the Bible to a bunch of people, which is technically what I'm doing right here, is reading the Bible to a few people that actually want to come in here and listen to what I have to say about the Bible or reading the Bible. So the way I look at it is this, like, people are so busy and fixated on trying to have sexual intercourse with people and making fun of you, and it's just like it's even gotten to the point where people start doing it to me. Where like I literally was talking to a girl at work yesterday, and some dude was making fun of me in the back, and I told her, I was like, I understand, I'm weird, and I stopped talking to her. She's like, don't, you're not weird. I was like, I just went quiet. I stayed quiet because I'm like, I know that you all think I'm weird here. I understand you guys think I'm weird. And this is a kid who, he's one of those really, really, he's one of those kids that, if you told him off, he would be sensitive about it. But because he likes picking on you, and he likes picking on you, and he doesn't really feel like he doesn't deserve to be picked on back because he's cool, he's hip, he's that guy that's in. It really gets me and baffles me how this all works. Because you know, back in the day, I remember when you were like me, you were bullied and set out because of your stuff you did. I was like kind of a comic book nerd. I had my outcast in school, and I've always been an outcast. But like I specifically remember there was always like a few girls that actually was okay with me, and they never had, like, actually had a problem with me. Like they actually, they liked me for they literally liked me for who I was. They had no problem with me being, weird and talking about the stuff that I liked. And we're at a state where like none of these young guys understand how things work anymore. So that's why they are the way they are. And I get bullied. I get bullied a lot, as you guys can see. And I still don't quit I still don't quit reading the Bible. I've, you know, I have so many people that I openly admit that I think I'm crazy, and I have to say it to them. But I don't get mad at people because you know what? At the end of the day, I always get called crazy. I always feel like I'm crazy, and you know what? It doesn't offend me at this point because you know what? I'm learning that being crazy is a part of what prophets are crazy. Prophets are by far the most craziest people. That's one thing I learned. And you know what? I know it doesn't naturally mean I'm a prophet, but hey, you know what? Sometimes I feel like I am. And I'm not gonna sit there and say I am, but sometimes I feel like I am. And some people that, don't want to believe in this kind of stuff, but believe in an alien, you call them crazy? No, they're perfectly fine. They're perfectly fine. They can believe in aliens. They can believe in aliens. They can believe in, things from outside the world. But if you believe in God, oh my, you're insane. You're a troublemaker. You're the worst person on the face of the planet because you believe in God. Ain't that funny how that works? I don't get society and how everything just works. How like because you believe in something that isn't their belief, you get called crazy. And that's why I keep saying I'm skeptical about the rapture. But if the rapture happens, hey, I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna be one of the first people into heaven. You gotta believe at some point that this stuff's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, so I was trying to sit there and literally talk to this girl about this coin, yesterday because of how intriguing this is. Like, this is always my little icebreaker when it comes down to it. Like, if I'm gonna go talk to a girl, my coin is the little icebreaker. And it's the fact that, like, the reason I use this as an icebreaker is because I have a story behind it. So I can't really, yeah. See, there's an angel in there. But that's my little icebreaker, and it's disappointing that even an icebreaker has turned people so against me from even remotely talking to anybody. And that's all I was trying to do, is I was trying to tell her of, like, I was trying to tell her and get into the discussion of, like, hey, there might be, there might be a rapture going on. I just wanted to let you know. But, people are like, people literally think that I'm crazy, and they openly admit to it. I openly admit to it. But you know what they don't do? They won't listen to anything I have to say, even if I openly admit that I'm crazy, that I feel like I'm crazy, even though I'm probably not. I haven't once, I haven't once actually harmed a human being in my entire life. But you know what? Everybody's been accusing me of that. I have not once harmed a single human being. I've saved people before I harmed human beings. I've saved people before. And you know what? That's why God has blessed me so much. That's why God has, that's why God is doing everything he's doing for me. A lot of people around me have always seen me as this, like, rejected person who's committed a bunch of crimes. But when they go and look it up, when they go and look up my information on how I did a bunch of crimes, they find nothing. They find nothing. And it's so amazing how they will continue to do. They will continue to blame you. They will continue to say you did all this stuff, but have no evidence online whatsoever of the stuff that I've done. Amazing. I had somebody bring something up to me last night in Discord, and I'm like, you people are like, everybody just wants to blame me. Everybody wants to blame me, but not even remotely try to understand that, not even remotely try to understand that these things, that I'm saying these things because these things are predicted in our Bible. That's how you know people don't pick their Bibles up or have read anything in the Bibles. In the Bible, if you read Revelations, you can clearly see it says it. Euphrates River dries up, and then, like, 2 paragraphs underneath it, it says about the idolization of false gods and gods without, and hold on, let me see if I can find it. I go into this book a lot because it just, like, even in a cherubim was explained in the throne in heaven, what a cherubim looks like. Trying to find it. Well, I'm not gonna find it right now because it's gonna take a little bit. But, I want people to try to understand my point here. Is that, like, I could sit there and poke fun at you guys, some of you guys, all day, for the people on the internet all day. Not you guys coming in here, because you guys have a little bit of respect for me, and you understand that I've read most of this so far, and I've read Revelations. So you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You have a little bit of respect for me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be showing up here. If you're showing up here, listening to me laughing, you're still giving me that respect, because you know what? You're showing up to the stream. But I will say this. We need to start coming to this understanding very soon that if there is a rapture to happen, it's not very far away. The 8th is like, Where's my calendar? So, okay, we look. All right. So the 8th is like about, I want to say 3 weeks away. Well, no, not even. No, not even 3 weeks. It's about 2 weeks away right now, ladies and gentlemen. 2 weeks away. You know, about a couple weeks ago, I remember Melanie Mack even remotely saying that she felt something going on, and she said she felt like something was big was about to happen. And then we got this that came out like about a week after she said that. And now here we are, not believing it. Because I even felt it. I felt it around the same time she did. But for some reason, we just don't want to believe. We want to believe in aliens. We want to believe in we want to believe in aliens. We want to believe in Elon Musk. We want to believe in Biden. We want to believe in Trump. We want to believe in our government. But you know who those people don't believe in? Jesus, the Son of God, God himself. They don't want to believe in any of that. And that's the funny part about it is like, they're all promoting different stuff about different religions and how like Muslim people may be trying to convert and combine together with Christianity, which I don't think is a good thing. I don't think that's a good idea. And you know why Catholics weren't informed of this? Because Catholics believe in purgatory. We don't believe in purgatory. We don't believe there's an in-between between heaven and hell. We believe that if you die, you either go to heaven, you go to hell. One of the two places. There's no in-between. So. Alright. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead, say prayers, and I'm going to get out of here. And I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow morning for another stream. I think I'm off Monday. I'll have to look. But Monday is when I'll be doing my next 2 streams. And then the week after that week, I'm going back to normal. And I'm going to be doing a double stream 3 times that week because I have 3 days. So, alright, let's get into it though. Alright. Lord Jesus Christ, I pray to you to give everybody that still hasn't understand signs that if a rapture's coming, give us signs that it's coming, Lord. Give them signs, Lord. If they don't believe, then keep trying until that day comes, if it is actually coming, Lord. And if it is really coming, give everybody a sign. Give everybody a sign and let them know. Lord, also, I pray to you to protect people that need protected today. Lord, I pray to you to bless people that need blessed today. I pray to you to help people that need help today. Lord, I pray to you to heal people that need healed today. Lord, I pray that you put light into the world today, everybody's world, and I pray that you put all that stuff in my life, and Lord, if you can, make me into, bring if you need people to come to you, Lord, bring people to me, make the people come to me, and if they don't come to me, Lord, put it in their hearts to pick the Bible up today and start reading. Lord, also, if you can, please bless Melanie Mack, and please, put protection around her like always, and send angels to her, Lord. Send angels to her because she needs angels, Lord. Send your strongest angels. And Lord, also, protect Stan today. Bless Stan today. Send angels to him. And send angels to anybody that likes to listen to my stuff about the Bible and not shy away from it, Lord. And Lord, anytime I'm talking to a woman, Lord, a biological woman, Make sure nobody's interfering with that from here on out. Because Lord, I've been trying to talk to people. I've been trying to date, and it's just been rough. So Lord, anytime I talk to a biological female, put a stop to any man messing it up. Like, stop, don't harden their heart, but make sure they walk out of the room, or like leave me alone, Lord, and leave us alone, and leave us communicate with one another. You know, even if it is just a discussion, Lord, prevent any males from getting in the way. In Jesus' name, amen. So, all right, there you go. There you have it. So I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow, and have a blessed day. Take it easy, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow.